That anxiety crisis allowed me to stop. I was given a leave of absence that was truly humiliating for my ego at the moment, but was a blessing to my soul because it was an opening, a turning point into something, some new reality.
Welcome to The Deep Coach, the podcast where we explore the transformational journeys that shape us and that propel us to change the world. I'm your host, Jonathan Hermida, and in each episode, we sit down with those who have journeyed into the depths of spiritual transformation and who are now reshaping the world through their presence and their work. In listening to these incredible human beings, you'll find insight, inspiration, and practical tools to support your journey as a coach and as a human being. Today's guest is my very good friend, Monica Larrabeiti. Monica is a master certified coach, one of our beloved Deep Coaching Intensive Learning leaders, and in fact, the very first learning leader that Leon ever invited into the program. She now also leads the Spanish language DCI, helping bring this deep work to coaches across the Spanish-speaking world. Monica is an absolute spiritual powerhouse and a true inspiration. In this episode, we talk about her 16-year journey climbing the corporate ladder at P&G, her experiences with infertility and divorce, and the spiritual awakening that followed. We explore her path into motherhood, her calling into coaching, and how her spiritual journey continues to evolve today. Whether you've already had the joy of learning from Monica through one of our programs, or you're just meeting her now for the very first time, this is a conversation you won't want to miss. Let's dive in. Well, Monica, it is a pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be connected with you. And
Wise.
it feels appropriate to start with this good girl script that you've mentioned to me a couple of times,
Yeah.
because it seems like that was a piece that formed you early in life and that influenced the unfolding of your life.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about this good girl script?
Yeah, that good girl script. Now, where is she? She's still here. She's still here. But it felt at the time, well, I don't know how it felt at the time, but when I look at it now from here, it felt a bit like a psychological prison, in the sense of many shoulds, musts. You must have good grades, you must obey, you must be the good girl, the good niece, the good granddaughter, because I was the first child of the family. And I had to do it right, and to be right and to conform to the norms. So the memories I have of that was more of a like a psychological prison in a way. Lack of freedom, more of the norms that you need to conform with or to check the boxes, and do what is expected from you, mainly.
You mentioned that you felt confined. I wonder what because when you're in that script early in life, you don't necessarily know that you're operating under a script. It's
No,
just,
this is why I'm saying when I think of it from
yeah.
now, from here, from where I am now, and being able to compare the difference, this is what I believe it felt like. But I recall that there were like judgments, from my mom, like you should be this way, and you have to act this way, and you have to get this, and you have to get that. And also memories of Monica is very responsible. Monica is very responsible, and I was 4. And I was very responsible. And I was responsible for my daughter, for my sister, for my cousins, because they were like 2, 3 years younger than me. And I was responsible when I was 4. So in a way, yeah, I had that responsibility, but not like an ability to respond, but rather as a burden to be good with the expectations of the adults in my life at the time. Another thing that is coming from maybe a little bit older than that But whenever I wanted to speak and adults were speaking around the table, having lunch or whatever, like kids don't talk when adults are speaking. So I had to be cautious, careful, and kind of, limit my spontaneity.
Yeah, and hold back.
Hold
Hold.
back. Yeah, that's the word. Hold back.
Yeah. I know it's
Hold
hard. I
back.
know it's,
Be careful, observant. Can I not?
yeah. 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 I know it's really difficult to go back in retrospect, but what do you think if you didn't have this good girl script that was imposed upon you in some regard, what do you think your natural state of being would have been or how it would have unfolded as a young person?
Well, I would say more free, more spontaneous, more less holding back, and more expressing whatever, like the highs and the lows, rather than being more of a flat line, just in case, like I cannot be that happy, I cannot be that sad or that causing problems to others, bothering. So I would say I would be more ups and downs, more spontaneous, more alive, more of a child who lives in a sense of wonder and possibility and openness and freedom. Uh, yeah.
And then all of that came crashing down in a sense with the divorce of your parents at about 19. Is that right?
Well, with the divorce of my parents, there was, how was it? So there was, something in the script is off. Something in the script of a good life, of a happy life in all senses for me and for my system, for my family system, was off because that was a bad thing, and more like maybe 30, 40 years ago when that wasn't the usual in Spain. So it was more of it's not in my hands. I cannot control it, but it's affecting me because the picture is not that nice anymore. So that, having the nice picture, the nice girl, the nice grades, the nice fitting with society, that sense of belonging out of fitting into the rules of society was very strong in me. And when that happened, that was like hard to process. Beyond the personal emotions of it, which were sad, very sad, but also, the my image in society. I was very associated to a self-image. Still am, but much less.
Sure. Sure. I
Yes.
imagine also the image because it seemed like your mom was driving a bit of that perfectionism. I'm sure on some level or on a direct level, it shattered the image you had of your mom and your dad, I'm sure, in terms of like this perfection that they were, advocating.
Yeah. Perfection was not there anymore. And there was a story that I was telling myself, but they were the perfect couple. How can this happen? You know, it was perfect. How can this happen? And so, for both my mom, my dad, but the family picture at large.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was an opening because in a way dealing with that sadness, that disruption, because it was a disruption, also opened or connected me with more resources and with a larger view of life.
Yeah. So it cracked you open, and yet you still graduated from the good girl to the superwoman.
Course. Of course, I graduated with honors or not with honors, but like very well, And I got hired by a very good company just after graduating. And I was checking the boxes of done, done, done. And And yeah, it was powerful. And I'm not saying that it was because I started with that psychological prison. To me, at the time, as you pointed to, I didn't have another reference. So to me, it was the normal, and I was doing good. I was being successful in a way, even with my parents' divorce. I mean, I had many friends. I've had a good life. I want to say. I want to say. But yeah, I continued with that, checking the boxes of the good, happy, successful life. And I got hired by P&G at the time, and I moved to Madrid, and I was having financial freedom when being 23 and having a new environment, a new town, a huge town, more freedom, more. I was more anonymous, because I was coming from a smaller town. So those were years of also lots of freedom, you know, a new beginning, a new beginning when I moved to Madrid, a
Yeah,
new possibility of creating a new persona in a way.
that's right. And that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because it is intoxicating, right? You're finding your power as a human being, as a woman. You're finding success. People are responding to that success. You're independent.
It,
That is exhilarating
yes,
and
it
powerful
was.
at that age.
Yeah, it was an amazing time, a bit crazy also, like very responsible at work, but at the same time, very crazy outside of work and having la vida loca a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know,
very
it's it,
fun.
it yeah, it's so interesting because our identities work until they don't. And for some people, their identities last a lifetime.
I love that. Yeah. Our identities work until they don't. And yeah, that's the process of living life in reality, because it's not that this identity is better than the other one. No, they work, they're in alignment with what's meant at that moment until they don't. And this they don't work any longer is not something like bad, but rather a sign of evolution, for this soul and this body mind to keep living to the fullest of its capacity and alignment and resonance in the moment. And identities keep shifting. Yes.
Yeah. But what's interesting is that for some people, an identity can break or it cannot work, but they fall further into that forms a new identity of I'm broken, or
Yeah.
I'm not good, I'm not good enough. And they stay in that, and
Yeah.
people take their lives. They become drug addicts, they become alcoholics as a result of that. So I know folks that are listening to this are on some sort of journey because they woke up and sort of something inside of them compelled them to start redefining who they are, to start tapping into something deeper. But not everybody does have that opportunity for whatever reason.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And I've had those feelings of I'm broken, uh, I'm worthless, I'm helpless at moments in my life. But as you say, in my case, they were used as opportunities to go deeper and to connect to what wants to happen here. If this was a gateway into something better, what could that be? And I've had that privilege, truly, of taking the challenges. I usually say a challenge is a gift in disguise. And I really live it that way. And well, I want to send a message of hope in that sense to whoever might be facing a very down moment of powerlessness and helplessness, and to stay in it, to stay, and through that conscious staying, opening up to what wants to happen. If life was good, if life was benevolent, what can this be an opportunity for if I really lean on it? Yeah, I truly believe that. Well, but I can talk about my experience. I don't want to be preaching anything, truly, because I feel utmost respect for anyone's experience in life.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your experience, where and how and why did the superwoman identity start breaking down?
Well, I think it has been breaking down forever. Yeah. But there was a moment, a very special moment in my life when I was 30, that I had an anxiety crisis. I was being the super executive and the super wife, woman, and I wanted to become a mom, and I couldn't get pregnant. And that was a yeah, that was a kind of an existential crisis for me, because there was one box that I couldn't check, and that connected me with very very transcendental questions. Who am I? What is this for? You know, this life for? What's the meaning of life? What am I pursuing? Kind of getting out of an autopilot script and programming that was very unconscious, very, or yeah, it was very unconscious, driving me to having those questions, those big questions rising within, and questioning, yeah, why am I here? You know, who am I? What is this for? And that anxiety crisis allowed me to stop. I was given a leave of absence that was truly humiliating for my ego at the moment, but was kind of a blessing to my soul, because it was an opening, a turning point into something, some new reality. From the being focused on the outside, you know, outside world, to coming back inside,
Yeah.
or to coming inside for the first time in my life, really, because I wasn't aware of being in that inner connection before. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
And that happened when I was 30. I couldn't become pregnant. And then that started a journey also into pregnancy. Like again, having the idea inside of, I'll be happy when I become a mom. You know, like the becoming a mom being something from outside to fulfill this persona, rather than I mean, in that sense, my son was a prop, you know, used to fulfill the inner needs here. And so yeah, that was after 4 years I was able to become a mom, but I was a very different mom after those 4 years than I would have been 4 years prior, because 4 years prior it would have been just a check.
Yeah.
And at that moment, it was after questioning a lot of things inside. You know, why do I want to become a mom? Can I be happy if I'm not a mom? Where does happiness come from? And when I chose that shortcut of, okay, because the different how do you call it, FIV processes,
IVF. Yeah.
IVF processes had been failing. And so I remember sitting and with myself, and connecting to where I'm choosing to be happy no matter. I'm choosing to be happy no matter. And if for whatever reason I'm meant to be a mom, I'll be happy as a mom. But if not, I am happy. And I decided to give away clothes that I had from my sister-in-law for my future kids and so on. I gave them away for other children to benefit from. And kind of that giving it away was kind of letting go, releasing that expectation from me, or that condition to life to be happy. And once I let go of that and I was being happy no matter, I got pregnant.
Incredible. Incredible.
And my son was a miracle, a blessing. Uh,
Not a prop. No
not
longer
a
a
prop.
prop.
An innocent prop and an innocent mother. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to blame anyone. I mean,
No, but we get it. You know, and we unknowingly do these things. You know, we accumulate,
yeah,
human beings
yeah,
as props, even a partner, and
yeah.
they become props in our story.
In our story, yeah,
In
everything is
our-
a prop in order to fulfill this
yeah,
lacking persona.
that's right.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's the game is like that.
The game is like that. And speaking of the game, the point that folks start awakening is the point where these deeper questions start emerging, because that is the shattering of the opening of the veil, and looking within that which we hadn't seen beyond these personas, beyond these identities.
Yeah,
And those are the portals that start inviting us into these deeper insights, these deeper understandings, which is not easy, once you start asking these questions, because everything that we've ever come to know about ourselves is propped up by that identity.
absolutely.
And it's,
Absolutely. It's not easy at all. And as you say, these can become portals or they can into a more aligned with truth life, I would say more expansive life, or portals into what you were mentioning before. I am helpless, I am a victim. Look how bad life is treating me. And so yeah, these are portals and it's not easy to stay there. But at the same time, yeah, it cracks us open to a better potentiality that is there.
yeah,
It is always, yeah.
it is always. So you were already awakening, you were already sort of coming into deeper insights into yourself, and then motherhood came. How did motherhood change you?
Oh, as I said, it was the biggest miracle, but it changed me. If I have to choose one thing, that would be it taught me what unconditional love is. What unconditional love is. My son has been to me the teacher for that because, yeah, it goes beyond the doing, the behaviors, the whatever. There's that oneness or that union or that unconditionality, truly, that I feel with him and that I have been able to expand to others, you know, out of this experiencing that in myself. Many times when I don't feel that way with someone, I ask myself, what if that someone was my son? You know, how would I behave differently? What words would arise if that was so? So that unconditional love is, yeah, something that nurtures me and informs my life.
Hmm. How did your relationship to work change afterwards?
It wasn't that important anymore because work had been kind of a sense of something where I could draw my sense of value and power, and it wasn't that important anymore. It had lost gravity, although work for me is still something important, but not as something that defines me, but as a way more and more of expressing in the world, you know? So rather than being something in which I have to fulfill the expectations, what's expected of me and so on, it's more of what did I come for in this world? You know, kind of that sense of purpose of uniting vocation and gifts, natural gifts with what the world might be needing. So that channeling that into more of an expression. And yeah.
Y- Yeah, moving from Janet Hagberg's Power by Achievement, stage 3, you moved into some power by reflection when you started to do the personal work. You
Yes.
came out the other end, power by purpose.
Yeah. Power by purpose, by alignment, by purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well,
And it's a purpose that doesn't come from an intellectual work,
right.
but rather from an inner calling. It's more of an inner vocation.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking to the previous stage of power by reflection, you started to do some personal development work. You started to get more involved in that world. What were some of the early courses, books, avenues that, healing modalities that you began to explore?
Well, with the crisis, when I was 30 with the anxiety crisis, I started to read self-help books such as Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, many books like that. I was devouring them. And I also joined after motherhood lots of family constellations work to kind of heal the wounds that are coming from our ancestors,
Mm.
and all these patterns of belief that are in our DNA in a way. I heard once that rather than bloodlines, we have thought lines. You know, and yeah, those belief systems that we have inherited. So I was really very, very like seeking about human experience. How does this happen? How do we end up being the way we are? What causes it? What creates it? And so, family constellations, coaching, NLP, counseling. I don't know. It became my hobby, really,
Yeah.
and I wasn't doing it in order to work as that in the future, but rather because I was feeling that calling, to nurture myself and to experience other realities more stemming from the inside.
Hmm. So you
Mm.
started to do this work before your son came into this world, and I'm curious because you both learned it from your mom, but also you had that tendency towards perfectionism, towards being the superwoman. Did you notice inklings of that sort of perfectionism, the way that your mom mothered you? Did you notice any inklings of that with your son, or do you feel that you started to become aware of those patterns and were able to heal them in time?
Well, of course I noticed them with my son. The thing is that I was much more aware. I was aware of my behaviors, and I could correct them, but of course not all of them. And I have come to forgive my mother because I understood her. She was doing her best, same as I was doing my best, because you understand that, or I understood that. When I became a parent myself, it's very easy that, no, my mom should have done that, my dad should have done that, and so on. But when you are there and you're acting there, you see that there are unconscious patterns that are rising, and you see them. It's like, okay, look at this. But it's seen, and it can be allowed, forgiven, and corrected eventually, just for the fact of being aware of it. There are other choices once one is aware
Yeah.
of what comes out naturally on autopilot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's patterns that are just deeply ingrained that honestly we wouldn't even know they're there until we're confronted with the very thing that would
Yes.
reveal them. So we have to
Yes.
first
Yes. Yeah, this is why I love it's a partnership with life, because life is sending you the things that you're ready to see,
Right.
and to heal, or to let go of, or to forgive yourself and others.
Right.
and yeah, enter more of a more compassionate life, more um, acknowledging the innocence
Mm,
and the innocence in all of us. We're all doing our best given the level of awareness we're in
mm,
and given the beliefs that we're believing in the moment. And unless we're confronted with them, we cannot change anything because they run on autopilot.
yeah. Yeah. Giving ourselves and those around us grace.
Grace, yes, grace. Yeah, yeah, and giving a more graceful life towards ourselves, towards others.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What made you finally quit P&G?
It was a natural, I would say, a natural unfolding. But what made me quit was after having been in this arena of self development. I had hired a coach myself to look into my own patterns and so on. Um, there was a P&G bought Gillette, and there was the opportunity for P&Gers to live with an exit package. And the GM was my friend at the time, and he asked me, Monica, if there was something like this, would you like to get it? And I said, wow, a lottery, a lottery. And I said, yeah, of course. That was amazing because I could exit P&G from a good place, like very, very grateful to the experience and yeah, kind of a natural closure and start a new life more as a mom, as a coach, as a very organically because I didn't have the need to work for money. I could allow myself to just continue doing what I or learning what I was enjoying. And little by little, by attending courses and workshops and programs, I was getting to meet with people who wanted to hire me because of my experience with the corporate world and with coaching. And so I started to work as an executive coach and with many corporations and yeah, I continued like that, more at a more flexible schedule that I was wanting for my new family life with my kid. So that was what happened. I think it got closed, or it was that relationship was ended very very naturally and with like peaceful in a peaceful way and
Mm,
celebratory way also. Because if had I left 2 or 3 years prior, when I had kind of a crisis there, another crisis there, with one of my bosses, which was just the excuse to again confront what was inside of me. But had I left there, it wouldn't have been so. It would have been like escaping, more of an escaping. Like I don't want to be here anymore, and I'm escaping, and I don't have any buffer or anything. But at the moment it happened, it was like perfect, perfect.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this stage in your life, the falling away of the old and the coming of the new are happening simultaneously. And a few years later, your marriage also begins to fall apart and eventually.
My marriage also began to fall apart naturally,
Yeah.
I would say. There's still a lot of love between both of us. But that shift in me towards a new life, a new set of values, I would say, that was happening naturally. It wasn't forced. If it wasn't accompanied by a similar change in him, what happened is that eventually our paths got very distanced. And what we were valuing was different in a way. The resonance there was not that much there anymore. And yeah, that was also I would say that was the toughest call for me so far, more than P&G or anything. Because again, it was the breaking up of the family setup. And I had to confront many beliefs and pains and, what do I want to give my son? Do I want to give him like something that is kind of from a societal point of view better in my worldview, I would say, like better, like the happy family picture and so on, and we can continue because my husband and I had another crisis, but we chose to continue together and for the sake of the family. But at that moment, what the answer in me was, no, I want to give him the possibility of being true or level, honest to himself, authentic, regardless of what the expectations of society are, and to connect to his heart and to what is truly important in there. And to me, it was that. So that was a big one that I had took time to process because we got divorced quite rapidly once we talked about it, but then the processing of it was after the fact. There's some people who get divorced after having processed a lot.
Mm.
I hadn't processed a lot. I had to digest it later on because we were good together, we were good friends, and nothing terrible was happening. It was more of well, I would say now, like different life paths.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense. I mean, you started to shake up the foundation of who you were and what your, orientation was and what you were identifying with. And he wasn't. He was just continuing on in the same path. So it makes sense that there is going to be a change, a shift in the relationship because your relationship to your own self is evolving and changing. So
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah. And in a way, yeah, once that relationship, that inner relationship is changing and that program is changing inside, also the expression outside might change, has many chances to
Yeah,
be
for
changing.
sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened. And now I can talk about it with a lot of love and seeing that it was for the greater good of all involved and but at the moment it was like, wow, I was having so many feelings of guilt, of uh, yeah, not being up to the situation, um, guilt towards my son. So
Yeah.
that was tough.
Yeah.
And it connected me to the Course in Miracles. And I was, yeah, also like going there, like going beyond the story, beyond the patterns to what we truly are in essence, to that connection to God, to spirit, to I even had a meditation with the three souls of ours, laughing from the backstage, at the play of life, like helping each other grow in what we were meant to experience in this life, But yeah, there were moments of also lots of gravity.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult. Yeah. Hmm.
It's incredible, right? Because life is for those of us that are oriented in this path of awakening, again, for whatever reason, why you, why me, why others, and not others. It's just there's like we're like these little popcorns of awareness that decide to pop after a certain amount of pressure has been
Yes.
inserted upon us, and it's interesting in that way. But once we wake up, as we were talking about before this call, everything becomes an opportunity to further wake up, to further refine
To further.
course.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And everything becomes an opportunity to further wake up, to further expand that experience of alignment with the truth of who we truly are.
Yeah.
That is in my words, I would say it's more impersonal. Comes a point when it's more impersonal, it's more universal, and it's I wouldn't feel that heavy weight now, you know?
Mm.
I see myself much more as an instrument of the whole, not so much as a decider or a chooser or a doer, but part of like the hand of something bigger, or the head of something bigger, or the heart of something bigger. But something bigger and all encompassing. I mean, it's not just bigger than me. It's like it encompasses it all, everyone and everything. So more of a feeling of oneness,
Mhm.
yeah, you were saying like pieces of awareness or fractals of awareness of the same whole, playing the game of life as best as we can, because we're innocent. We didn't choose our beliefs when we were kids. They were kind of implanted, or we were like sponges, like soaking them, saying yes to them, but very unconsciously. So who is there to blame?
Right.
You know? And the actions and the behaviors are stemming from those beliefs that we didn't have a voice in. So in the end, it's like, okay, everyone is innocent, and everyone, and when we talked before about the game, no, the more I see it as a game, cosmic joke, or the game of God playing with the contrasts in duality,
Yeah.
so that we have that experience of the good and the bad, the light and the shadow, the happiness and the sadness, which is fun when you can live it from that place of, wow, we're playing. And this,
I'm also laughing because then life goes, okay, let's see. You're playing this game. Okay, now let me take 85% of your income streams, like happen to you. Is it still a fun game?
yeah.
Are you still having fun?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's yeah, depending of the vantage point of every moment, everything can be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can you tell us a little more of that lived experience of that happening and how you showed up in that moment?
when I was 50, yeah, because I got divorced at the beginning of my 40s, and then I was consolidating my new business, my new career, motherhood, and I reached another point at 50. The 85% of my income out, my new partner out, my son studying in the States out, motherhood, acting motherhood out, turning 50,
Yeah.
which is like an important, to me, it was an important age, like you're getting old. And so a moment of, okay, even my first husband saw me at the time, and he told me, "Well, I've learned about all of your happenings. Look at you and at your age." It's like,
Urge.
okay, that's what I needed. It's like, okay,
That
what
was the
else?
final straw.
What else can happen now to make it even worse?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a moment of, again, cocooning and being with it all. Um, and instead of following many voices who were telling me, Monica, but you need to knock on doors and do this and do that, go for your income I was having a very, very deeply felt sense of, Monica, you need to rest. You need to rest. This is another potential opening for something. And you need to rest, contemplate, connect, let the new unfold. I had a very, very clear sensing of that. So I said, okay, I'm going to give myself some rest. And sometimes when I go there, I put some deadlines, so that it doesn't become very crazy. Like, okay, I'm going to give me 1 year or whatever. Um, and I did. And this is when I met Leon, and when I started to go even deeper into the coaching world. Um, because to me, what we're doing at the center is coaching is the excuse. It's more of a transformational living, and through this kind of coaching, you can really create the conditions for people to connect to what is always there, potentially, and to shift from that sense of more of a psychological identity, more of a being identity that then is tainted by the personality, but not the other way around. And that, to me, at that moment, I was already an MCC coach by the ICF. But I met with Leon, and I didn't know whether to have mentoring with him or go for the course. And in the end, after a conversation, I went for the course, and it was again another bath of truth for me, and of allowing the stripping away, again, of those layers of beliefs, and connecting to what's truly our being, I would say our core identity, which to me, again, it's more impersonal, more universal. And then it takes the colors, the bright colors of your gifts and your personality. But it's stemming from that place that doesn't need to prove, to show, to follow any expectations, but rather follow its inner guidance.
Yeah.
And from there, bring expression to the world, and work and everything, but very, very aligned. And that was a blessing to me. On top of that, I had an extra 40,000 euros because of some stock options that I had forgotten about. And my ex-husband called me one day and told me, Monica, do you remember about this? And I said, no, but that's great news.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was even better for me. I took the opportunity of traveling to the States to pick up my son, and we traveled from San Francisco to San Diego and Vegas. We did an amazing trip together, and yeah, it was the opening for a new. Well, an opening, yeah, or more expansive, I would say, because when did the first opening start, so it kept expanding more towards the core, but the light and the freedom, the spontaneity, the resonance to the heart are stronger and stronger and stronger
Yeah. There are
every step of the way.
every step of the way. There are so many important points that I want to sort of slow down into here, because what I appreciate and love so much about these conversations, what I recognize in my own story, what I listen out for, even for people that are not on the path, is that when we're really paying attention and we're really trusting life and the unfolding of life, life is really unfolding for us, and life is happening for us, not to us. And it is so easy for us in moments of crisis, like losing 85% of our income, to go into crisis, to go up into our mind, to listen to the amygdala that is activated, and to then react from that place. But
Yes.
I have known this to be true, because my analogy has been several times in my life, I have felt like I'm in this car going 90 miles an hour with the brakes out, heading straight to a cliff. So imagine that feeling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but every single time, there's been pavement on the other side.
Yeah.
And what I've come to know and trust, and I really no longer, my nervous system truly no longer reacts to those moments. If there's bad news, quote unquote bad news, if there's, some unfortunate thing that happens, I'm like, okay, I'm sitting with it. What's next? What's life asking for me? I slow down, I listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every single time there's pavement, there's more road.
Yeah. Every single time there is pavement. And even if in my case, for instance, my nervous system can be affected sometimes, like
Naturally.
the first reaction is kind of unconscious.
Yeah.
But then it can be lived as an invitation. Okay, there's more for you, as you were saying, no? Instead of to you as a victim, there's more for you, for your growth, for your expansion, for your expression. There's a new opportunity here to get rid of some falsities that you're believing in, and to anchor more into what I call truth, which to me is that sense of you're held. There's pavement all along.
Yes. There's ground. Yes.
There's ground.
Yes.
There's ground. Yeah.
That's why I love the phrase ground of being, because if we really are grounded in being, we are supported. We are supported.
We are support. I mean, we are it. Being is it. To me, it's yeah, and every sense of losing it can be an invitation to reposition ourselves there, because it's not outside of ourselves.
No.
It's just hidden by some made up story, nightmare in the moment that we're believing that is affecting all our nervous system, our physicality, and everything in the moment. But once you connect underneath that drama, that story, there's this, okay, are you the one who's suffering, or are you the one aware of the one who's suffering?
Yeah.
Are you being the awareness of it? Like more of that witnessing neutrality, and little by little reconnecting to that ground of being, allowing the drama, even smiling at it many times, and also thanking it,
Totally. Totally.
Thank you. Thank you for showing me that I was like heading again towards the direction of the good things are going to come from achieving certain results or from these external things. Thank you for redirecting me inside towards the happiness and the well-being that is ever present. And from there, go back outside to relate to the whatever issue, if it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And there's a story, and I first heard it through Muji, actually. The story of the king, and I think I tried to say it in another episode, but it's basically the king that has a son, that something happens to his son, and the assistant is like, oh my God, this is horrible, and the king always said, this wise king always said, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
the horse is left, and he's like,
Yes.
horrible, maybe, and then as a result, the son left to go get the horses. Oh, this is horrible. Maybe. The son breaks his leg. This is horrible. Maybe. The somebody comes announcing that there's war and we need all your best men, and now the son can't go. This is great. Maybe. So
Yeah.
it's this idea that life is unfolding, and we associate, or we assign it good or bad.
Yes.
And there's a much bigger unfolding that's happening beyond what our little minds can comprehend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And can we trust that? Can we tap into that? Can we be with that?
Yeah. Can we, that's the way for me. Can we trust that? Can we be with that? Sometimes I say that life is giving us new experiences so as to show us what parts in ourselves and in others and in life we're still not loving, we're still not open to, and they can come as an inner challenge or something from a situation, outside situation or whatever, but opportunities to wake up more of who we truly are and to that unconditional love. To me, it's can I love that? Can I love the sadness? Can I lean onto that? Can I love this trigger in the nervous system in a moment, uh, rather than trying to get rid of it? Can I connect to it
Yeah.
and let it inform me? Because the more we're open to any kind of experience, the more we can know with capital K that nothing real can be hurt, and threatened. So we become more bigger and bigger containers of anything in life for ourselves and also for our clients. If a client comes with a sadness, deep sadness or deep anger, we can hold space for them and we can be with that, trusting that this is a gateway, that we don't need to fix anything, that we don't need to try and calm down or whatever, but we can meet them there and do the right with them so that it gets really transmuted, uh, in our presence, in our loving presence.
Mm. Which is the essence of the work we do here at the center, and that we train coaches to do for others, is to hold that space, that container. What has it been like for you as one of our learning leaders to be the facilitator of that learning experience for so many people that are going to be those vehicles for so many other people in their own lives?
Well, to me, it's been an honor and a blessing, and a privilege, I would say. I could not be more grateful to this opportunity of co-creating with so many different people, because not one single program is the same. Because apart from the outline or the skeleton of the program that is so well done, I would say, by Leon and the whole team. Apart from that outline, it's our energies co-creating. The learning leader one and each one of the participants. And when so many people are single focused towards more of who they truly are, to their being, to their heart's intelligence and so on, it's a blessing. It multiplied.
Yeah.
So I don't have enough words to to say how grateful I am, because you need to kind of keep learning what you're teaching.
Mm.
And so it's staying in that energy of being your best, doing your best, opening up to whatever experience is there, the challenges, the blessings, everything, and becoming a bigger container of all human experiences, guided by the wholeness, by spirit, by the all-encompassing energy of love,
Yeah.
I would say.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Mm.
What is it like? So you are also, in addition to being the learning leader, you're also building out the DCI Spanish division for the
Yes.
Spanish speaking world. So entering Spanish speaking markets. And that is a whole different beast, to obviously the learning leader role, but also to building your own private practice. It's a completely different, set of skills, set of understanding, set of challenges. You could
Absolutely. I need a new persona, a new identity
New ones
for
emerging.
that one.
Ones emerging.
Something new, a new one is emerging really with this one, because yeah, it's truly not just the teaching part or the facilitating part, but there's so many things. You becoming an entrepreneur, conscious entrepreneur, and applying all this that I know to those triggering moments of the, oh my God. I Since it's a new territory, I have moments of being freaked out, or being like, "Pff, I let go of this, you know." But then again, it's connecting at a deeper level, and really asking myself the question very honestly, Monica, what is it that you truly want?
Mm.
You know, and I love this work so much that what I truly want is that. So I continue from that place of, this is for me. I was born for this. I was born to share this possibility with the world in English and in Spanish. And I continue, and I also take all the external challenges as invitations into the, what's truly true here, what's the possibility here,
Mm.
how do you want to stretch your expression in the world, your persona, who do you need to be, who do you choose to be
Yeah.
here, in connection to that, this is for me, you know. So it's much more powerful than from a place of, oh, I can't, which I also have.
Right. So it's the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. I
Ups and
recognize that
downs.
deeply, and it's not easy, and that's where we really need to remain grounded in being, because the
Yeah.
mind wants to control and take over, and get some sort of assurance that I'm going to be okay, everything's going to be okay, it's all going to work out. And the entrepreneurial journey never gives you that assurance per se. It takes a while.
Yeah, but this is why I'm gonna be okay, because I'm grounded in being, you
That's
know.
right.
And even if I'm under a bridge, eventually, because I sometimes I've gone there, you know, like under a bridge and with no one, and if I'm in this presence, everything is okay, you know. And from there, I go back,
Oh,
and yeah,
that analogy brings me back to, I remember saying to one of my best friends when I was really deeply immersed in this journey and really truly living the surrender experiment myself in my own life.
yeah,
I was telling him, I'm like, I just know, I don't know where this is heading. I just know I need to keep trusting. And even if it leads me to under a bridge, I'm going to be perfectly okay. I'll be the happiest, most joyful person, giving love under that bridge.
yeah, 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 yeah. So we relate in that as well. Maybe we meet under a bridge, you in Florida and me here in Spain.
Well,
Oh,
well, cheers. Well,
with the
cheers. And that's
internet, free internet that is
yeah.
all over the world. Hey, Jonathan, how's your bridge?
We'll start hosting classes under a bridge and and build from scratch.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, and build from scratch, because that creative force is going through us under a bridge or at any point, you know.
yes.
So it's like, okay, I'm here now, no matter if there's under a bridge or no, but what wants to unfold through me?
Hmm.
And this to me is the greatest of the blessings, because once you are like taking decisions from there,
Yeah. Yeah.
one step towards it, it makes 100 steps towards you, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
It's
the universe conspires.
it does, and this journey is so much, and it's difficult to do this, but it's so much about surrendering our personal will for the greater will.
Oh, I love that. And I say it in Spanish lots of the times, like, hágase tu voluntad,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
may your will, thy will be done.
May that will be
You
done.
know, because I don't know, my little me doesn't know
No
what's
idea.
best.
No idea.
But you, life, or the that part in all of us knows. So giving it, surrendering it to it, in grace, not like in resignation, but in grace,
Yeah.
in joy, in trust, is wow.
Yeah.
is something as well. Yeah. Let go, let God.
Let go and let God.
The God in us, the one that is not conditioned by the fear and the program of protection and defense and separation.
Right.
Yeah. Mm.
Monica, if you can leave listeners with one invitation, something to reflect on or practice in their own transformational journeys, what might that be?
Trust yourselves, trust your path, trust it all. Trust is the one that comes.
Yeah.
Like open yourself to move beyond your fears. Like the one I said before, like any challenge is a gift in disguise. It's for us, not to us.
Mm.
And life is very amazing, very thrilling, because it's not that the lows are not going to keep happening, but they're happening from that other place, like this game. And sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but who we truly are is not at stake. And we're grounded, we're held, we're supported every single moment.
Yes. Yes. The true irony in life is that you surrendered that superwoman persona, went on your path and on your journey. And I would say you are, without the identity of superwoman, a superwoman in some
No.
you really are. And you're this incredible, incredible light, incredibly wise woman, just doing such incredible work with such unconditional love. You mentioned unconditional love. It really feels that way when you interact with me, when you interact with students, when you interact with others, that you are the embodiment of unconditional love. And so
Oh,
I just want to thank you for who you are and how you show up for everyone.
oh, thank you, Jonathan. You really touched my heart again. And I'm really grateful to have you in my life and to be able to work with such amazing people in the center and with the students. And I feel blessed, really feel blessed.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today. To learn more about today's guest, visit our podcast landing page at www.podcast.centerfortransformationalcoaching.com. You'll find links to their website, social media, and anything else they might want to share there. And if you're curious to explore more about our work, our trainings, or the deep coaching approach, you'll find everything at www.centerfortransformationalcoaching.com. A new episode of this podcast releases every 2 weeks, so please subscribe wherever you listen to stay up to date on each episode. Until next time, stay present, embrace love, and continue sensing into what life is calling you toward. See you soon.